Hi, welcome back to Conversations with Kanyomozi. My name is Lisa Kanyomozi Ramoni, and this is a podcast. Happy Women's Month. Is that what we're going with? Yes, it's March. And we are celebrating, highlighting, speaking, doing everything to do with women. If you know me, that's sort of like my agenda throughout the year. But let's announce it all March. We do the plug here when we begin the segment, and that's basically giving you whatever is happening that I found interesting throughout the week. One thing that I found on Twitter was an article by Laquena that says, "For women, justice is beyond the system." I really enjoyed reading this article because it gave Rachel, who was a Markle student who reported sexual assault, and how that case went on, but also it highlighted how Patricia wrote about for Uganda, the media also helps in misleading and not letting women be able to get the justice that they deserve because of the way that they report the stories. I felt like that was a very, 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 very interesting article, and I think you can find it on the Laquena website if you'd like to read more into it. Let's get into the gist. So, I've got guests for the first time on the podcast. I've got Louise and I've got Faith, who will now introduce themselves. Hi. Hi.
Hello. Hi, my name is Lindsay Kukonda. I'm the managing director of Her Empire. It's a feminist organization that challenges society's entitlement to women's bodies and by extension their lives. Because if you control my body, you control my life. Where I move, what I can dress, where I can work. And we have two programs. One is Not Your Body, which is the feminist element, and we also have the Mentors Network, which is a digital safety and security element. That's it.
Faith.
Hi, Faith Mulunji, and I am the founder for Amani, UG, and basically it's a safe space and a rape victims rehabilitation center, and we basically help rehabilitate victims of gender-based violence, sexual violence, and rape.
Okay, so I've got them here to talk very serious things, but let's begin with the gist. And the gist is whatever has been happening, celebrity entertainment, whatever news that you find interesting. And for this week in particular, it has been a bloodbath of the British Empire. So Meghan Markle and Prince Harry, were in an interview with Oprah Winfrey, an exclusive interview to share basically their actual emotions on why they chose to leave royal duties. Have you been following the story?
I have, trying to keep my opinions to myself.
Okay.
Offline. like online, I've just really been seeing the different angles that people have been expressing, how people have been interpreting it. But I'm amazed at how Meghan Markle has been speaking out since she was 12.
Yeah.
That really stood out for me. She says something, she's not one woman to just, keep quiet. And so I do have my opinions.
What are your opinions? A penny for your thoughts.
Let's just say the culture of silence around the institution of marriage, and then the deception of it being between two people.
Yeah.
Yet when you actually get married, you marry into a family. And for Meghan Markle, she married into an institution that is very protected. We all know the background which the British royal family is built, colonialism and all these other not nice genders. So she marries into this institution, and how she navigates that, we've seen how the media has been tearing her apart, and Harry from the get-go has not really been the acceptable child. So them finally moving out and then having a baby, having a miscarriage, and how the contrast between how Meghan and Harry and then William and Kate are treated, the fact that she's born of a Black American woman, all of that for me has just exposed the complexities of marriage as an institution. But then kudos to them, not just her speaking out, but also we all know how society hails men up there. For him also to just be there, and I mean, before the shoot, Lindsay had brought a very interesting side. The fact that the prince said, you know what, I'm done. I'm choosing my wife and my family. I had not seen that particular angle because I mean, when you got to see how Twitter, Nigerian Twitter, especially the men were saying,
misogynistic Twitter,
blood is thicker than water. And you know, we got to see the reality of how women are looked at as just conduits of children to this other family and them not being. I could go on and on, but I was just picking up.
It's interesting that you bring that up because I was also seeing a few tweets of how people were celebrating the fact that Harry chose Meghan, but back home, if they were put into the same situation, it is rare that a man will maybe speak up to his mother because she's, you know, traumatizing or harassing his wife. So, Lindsay, you did say that you're not following the story actively, but your thoughts?
I don't really care.
Yeah, as blunt as possible.
I don't really care, but what I did like from the very beginning was when I learned that Harry wanted to marry Meghan.
Yeah.
The first thing that I thought of is like, Lord have mercy, this woman done had sex on TV.
Yeah.
How is the royal family going to accept this on top of her being black? So I was happy because I thought it meant progress.
Yeah.
I did not realize that the British royal institution was still trying to remain in 1865. I also like a quote by Meghan. I don't want to be a lady who lunches.
Yeah.
I want to be a lady who works.
Okay.
And when princes marry women, the women are obligated to immediately start wearing different shoes. They got like a whole dress code rule. Then they have to become women who lunch. And I like that Meghan Markle had that opinion. But what I love the most is that a man of power is a person for the first time who chose to risk being ostracized by his family for another woman, and not just another woman, a colored woman. And he left his home to relocate geographically to be with this other woman. That's a really, really powerful thing because I'm a fan of the classics.
Yes.
And there is an actress, what was her name? Very beautiful woman, who stopped acting after she married into a royal family in the Netherlands, I believe. Her life just ended right there. And I was just contrasting it with what's happening now.
No, yes.
Yes. But other than that, I don't care.
You okay? I hear you. So now that we've talked about Meghan Markle, something that has come on the scene when people are now speaking about her speaking out and sharing her experience, obviously a very racist experience. I can go back to the fact that the royal family had concerns of how black the baby might be. She also spoke about how she was having suicidal thoughts during her pregnancy, and all of these things that she has been able to deal with. Take me back to the fact that people always give this accord whatever she's gone through, not understanding how difficult it could be, but say, oh, what a strong woman. And a quote that is really loved during Women's Month when we're celebrating women is, to the strong women, may we be them, may we raise them, may we something them. It's a very popular quote. And I really want to talk about strong women. I personally, I do not identify as a strong woman. I refuse the title. I refuse the term. I am weak. I am vulnerable. I am soft. I am tender. I am not strong, because I feel you then let a lot of nonsense. I saw someone tweet that when someone calls me a strong woman, it means I've tolerated a lot of bullshit. So, what are your thoughts on the term strong woman?
You going fast?
Yeah.
Does that make me a strong woman?
You're taking the matter.
I'm a firstborn, and you are born into, no matter how progressive your family can be, the realities of the fact that you are born into a community. It never hit me that as a strong woman.
Yes.
Up until 2018, I'd gone through a very rough time with my health, and so I decided to celebrate my birthday. I decided to just host my people because I survived something really, really terrible. And so during one of my little brother's speech, he goes, "Oh, Mulunji is a killer. Mulunji is strong." In the moment, I'm like, and I'm like, wait, what? So I feel like the way this whole thing is phrased, initially I used to think it was praise, but like that person said, it's okay, so everyone runs to me, I'm solving everyone's problem, but who is here for me?
Yes.
And I won't lie to you, from that time I remember snapping psychologically and saying, you know what, no. If I'm so strong that I don't even ask for help, something
There's a problem, yeah.
If I'm so strong that I'm there for everyone else, but then I don't even know how to slow down,
yes,
then there is a problem. And you see, when you hear, I'm pretty sure you've seen the tweet, ask an African man to describe wife material, and you see them describe a slave. It sort of runs concurrently with strong woman.
Yeah.
The woman that's, let's go back to Neo's Miss Independent. She's got her own, she pays a bill, all these look really fancy, up until you realize that on top of you being strong, you are expected to carry on all these other things that a woman must do without complaining. And should you say, hey, I need help, then your being strong is questioned.
Exactly.
Okay? Should you, in Meghan Markle's opinion, you should appear like everything is okay. I remember I'm in a group on Facebook, it's a fashion page, someone posted and said, but Meghan Markle is overdoing it. She needs to ensure that the family does not look a certain way. So that when you break down what strong means in society,
you're taking bullshit.
It's not the fact that, Lindsay is, physically strong, she's got her own. It's because Lindsay should tick the boxes of strong woman, doesn't show weakness, doesn't need help. She finishes all, she's Miss Independent. But then, when we require her to be the woman that society deems she had better adjust, else we question you being strong. So that's when I decided, no, it's not for me. But it's been a process, unlearning, unlearning, because you're taught, I'm partly a Uganda woman, woman, and you tick all these boxes, and then you're promised, then when you add in religion, you're promised that when you are this certain way, there is a Prince Charming. No one is prepared. So
that Proverbs 31 woman who wakes up before dawn, and her man is resting.
Not resting. Where is the husband? The Bible says he is at the gates singing praises. I was like, nah, fam, this is way so little. So that's when I realized that I need to define my own version of strong. And for me, strong now is saying, hey, Lisa, I'm sorry, I can't help, or not taking on people's burdens, or saying no. That does not mean I'm weak. That means, I get to define my own version of strong. So that's my story with putting my strong woman down.
Like this mantle, pass it on. Lindsay?
First of all, I would just like to say that Neo's song, Miss Independent. I love that song. Because for the first time, all music videos have women on boats in bikinis, just looking pretty. Or,
But what's wrong with just looking pretty?
There's nothing wrong with looking pretty, but when it is so consistent that is how young children look at it. I'm going to be on a man's boat, and he's going to be giving me champagne, and the man is going to be giving me money. And those are the music videos that I see. So I like the Miss Independent video because he is following this woman who keeps saying hell to the no, to the left, to the left, to the left, to the left. So I kind of like the message in there. When it comes to the definition of a strong woman, I watched a documentary once where a woman was asked, if you had a choice, would you be born a man or a woman? And she laughed. And she said, why would I want to be born a man? It's too easy for them. I love that. I think that suffering is what makes people stronger.
Really?
That's my opinion.
Okay.
If you do not experience pain and live through it, you're not going to grow. If you do not experience suffering and survive it, you're not going to grow. You're going to stay a particular person. So I identify myself as a strong woman.
Okay.
Because just yesterday I was crying.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was crying. I was crying. Something that upset me, and I was crying, and I got over it. And I am getting over things all the time.
So the term strong woman works.
And that is why we become so formidable towards the end. For me, that is how I view the word strong woman.
Okay.
You suffer and you experience pain, you experience discrimination, you find a way to look for solutions and not problems. You actually become very, very active, whether you like it or not, if you're going to survive in this patriarchal world.
Okay, so that's interesting. That's interesting because I want to, now that we've got two sides. I like that. Now we've got two sides. So do you then think a woman who does not identify as a strong woman is not worthy of celebration? Would you then say, if I say, no, that's not for me, I am soft, I take only softness, I take only tenderness, I do not agree with suffering, I do not support suffering Olympics, that's not for me, does that then mean I am not worthy of celebration? What would you say?
I would say that I do not like labels. Strong is one label. Femininity and women and humanity is so versatile and so broad that to stick to one word and use it to identify what a woman is problematic. Because what is this? What the hell is a strong woman? What if I don't want to suffer? Some people cannot handle suffering. What if what you want is a life of luxury? Does that mean no?
No, but you just, this is in regards to the statement that you just made about suffering is what helps growth.
Yes.
So then now, if
it doesn't make them unworthy. It doesn't make them unworthy. That's they've made a choice. This is the life that you want to live, and if you do not want to suffer, that means that you're not meant to suffer. That's why some people commit suicide. Some people can't handle.
No, I definitely understand that.
Yeah.
It's the correlation that's missing with me. So, Faith, in regards to that, you've had Lindsays' take on strong women and the term strong women and suffering and all of that. Do you think women who show their weakness, women who show their vulnerability, women who can't handle it, women who can't take it, women who refuse certain things. Like, for one, this is the most, I think, mainstream example. People do not regard women who choose a C-section over a natural birth as strong women. They do this, for you need to give birth, So are those women that we then say cannot be celebrated?
That's where my problem with strong women comes in. I like the fact that now we're trying to take back our power and define it for ourselves. But when it comes to Women's Day, let's just go back to the celebrations and the posts. Okay? I don't like fancy labels. Queen, she boss,
Shipreneur.
Shishiro. Like, no.
Mompreneur. Since you just have a business and you're a mom.
This is the thing, going back to the thing with labels. It initially looks okay to be a strong woman, up until you realize that with the way society is, you don't get to pick and choose. That's why we have terms like gold digger. We have terms like slay queen. In their minds, a woman is supposed to be in a certain way.
Yeah.
People get to define. I love what you talked about, the not your body. People define morality. Is it modesty, decency?
Yes.
And initially, it looks like you can get to pick and choose, but the women that pick and choose are labeled and from a negative connotation. You see. So when you look at how women are celebrated, you either are breaking the glass ceiling or you need to be aspiring to break it. To be honest, things like beauty and brains,
Yeah, that's an insult. Please don't love me.
Things like beauty with brains. You don't see men being told,
you're handsome with brains. It's like,
because you don't get to see that, or you don't get to hear a man being called a gold digger.
Yeah.
Or the problem with it's raising and being strong women is society does not allow formology to define what strong is. Okay, I even sometimes recently I was having a conversation with one of the guys, and they were asking what they can do to help the men. Not what are the feminists doing, and the thing they are grappling with is the term real man.
Yeah.
Who defines it? Because masculinity, femininity, all those there's such a spectrum. Okay, so my thing with women showing weakness is even the weakness that you get to show is what is the word? Someone dictates it. That if you're a royal, take the punches.
Yeah.
Or else Pius Morgan is going to, to drag you all.
Yeah.
So I believe that we need to break the stereotypes around what a woman is. Because a sex worker is a woman. A domestic help or a domestic worker
remains a woman. Yeah.
The first thing is you'll see she's a woman. She exists. So take your crowns. I don't have to be royalty,
to be celebrated. Yeah.
Or the fact that a woman is bringing a child into this world, that in itself,
carrying it, choosing to have a child is strength in itself.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
So I feel like, and can we pause, if it were possible, can we pause the celebration up until we rewire ourselves? Because a lot of times we want to position ourselves like we're woke. But then the things that we carry on are what someone once said, peer pressure from the dead. Like, we don't sit and evaluate. We keep on saying, this is our culture, once you question. And then when you see how they depict African women, cornrows, or like a mother with a child at the back. Not that that's not the reality, but the fact that as African women,
there's diversity.
We are diverse, even when it comes to the shades of our skin. So celebrate all women.
Okay.
Celebrate us or don't, or leave us alone.
I understand. I like that.
Next,
so I'm not.
Something you said is hilarious. When you talked about how women are labeled sex prostitutes, women are labeled slave queens, I just thought about how much it is admired in men when they take on those roles.
Yes.
Like if a man is a gigolo, progress. Progress. Women are paying money for money.
How many have you been through? Yeah, man with a man, and then I have a woman.
No, I found a male sex worker like advertising his services online. And everyone's like, progress.
Right?
I'm like,
when it's women, it's shameful.
Who's going to marry?
A woman decides to open a page and say she's a female sex worker. What's
the difference? Yeah.
And also, this is a movie that Magic Mike. You see Magic Mike?
Yeah.
Like I loved Magic Mike because I was seeing, men down to their underwear, so much flesh. It was
It's the honesty for me.
handy, absolutely.
It's the honesty for me.
But when Beyonce, for example, like people still like say things like, I can't respect a woman who dresses like that.
Yeah.
But when men do it, it's something that
it's something to be praised. Definitely.
Yeah.
So now I just want to take you back to Strong Woman.
Yeah.
And this is titled An Ode to Strong Women. And as we bring everything here, I really want to talk about vulnerability and how that, for me, garners a lot of strength, because a lot of the time the societal pressure or the societal indication is you have to be a strong woman. You do not cry. You do not show weakness. You do not ask for help. I'm a firstborn as well. You carry the mantle. And I remember we've been going through something as a family, and a relative said, you don't do that, you're the firstborn. And I was like, no. I am the child in this situation. I am a 5-year-old, and I'm going to allow whatever weakness to show. So what are your journeys with vulnerability, especially as women who are not expected to be vulnerable. Either in the workspace when she's crying, don't you think you're too emotional? But like this is my expression of my anger, or my frustration, or my hurt, or whatever it is. So what has your journey been with like vulnerability?
Feel like a pass?
Strong women.
Please first. I have always been an extremely sensitive person, extremely emotionally sensitive. I will cry at anything, like a dying plant, and I'll just collapse. Say, oh my God, the plant is dying, someone need with the plant. And I also tend to take things very personally, especially when I am passionate about it, like human rights, women's rights, animal rights. And I got used from a very young age to being told, you're taking this too personally, you know, you're too sensitive, you're too this. And that used to break me all the time. So I would try to be strong. Exactly, you see. So I would try to be strong so that I am not so emotionally sensitive. And I was paying the price psychologically. I now I'm quite fine with saying, you know what, guys, right now I'm going through a mental breakdown. I don't want to see or hear nothing for the next 10 days. I'm okay I'm unapologetic about how I feel, about if something has upset me. So now when people tell me things like, you're too sensitive, I respond with, you're emotionally dead.
Okay.
What's missing in you that you are dismissing my feelings? This is how I feel. So you're telling me not to feel
how I feel. Okay.
So please go to the left.
Yeah.
But it's difficult. It's a journey of it's a journey of pain. There are some triumphs, but I pay the price psychologically for every single win.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
In one of my the catch up with Mulunji, I shared about how
you didn't talk about the catch. What's the catch up with Mulunji? Do you know?
Oh, I love to talk, so I host conversations every Thursday on my Instagram. That's at Amani Mulunji. So I started those conversations from my journey with therapy.
Yeah.
I've always been told I'm sentimental. I hated that word, by the way. I'll not even Google what it means.
Because I know it's negative connotation.
Hated it. And then the other thing was, you're dramatic. And the Luganda word is namiekozo. Like if you are probably not going, I've never been the kind to go by words. Not like rebellious, but I would always ask the questions. I would always question. So I've been strong up until a place where I realized this is not serving me. This is really not serving me. I've gone through lots of things in that I used to view my vulnerability as the cause, the reason for, whatever life was throwing at me. Where I am now, I enrolled for therapy. I recommend save some money, the same way we save some money and go out and, have a good time. Save some money and go through therapy process, because as first daughters, first of all needs to be paid.
The parents, the assistant parent.
You're their experience. You're their
first
experiment at parenthood, and then you are assistant parent, and then let's not rule out the pressure that comes from the relatives.
Yes,
the other people.
yes, you're the leader.
That actually make us very aware of the things that our parents are trying to protect us from. My parents did their part. I have a very good relationship with them, and we have spaces where even when I was younger, they would accommodate my questions. At 1.5 years, I was already talking, and apparently I would ask so
many questions.
So many. That my parents was okay. It's just that sometimes the other people are the ones that would make you very aware of how different you are. And like Lindsay says, you are strong, fitting into this other narrative, being told what it means to be strong, and then you realize that for me, what that meant was wearing masks.
Yeah,
that I would read my environment and then become. And then, at a certain point, I was so lost in the masks that I remember sitting down and actually asking myself, what's my favorite color? I know it sounds very silly, but because if I realize that, to survive in this environment, I have to take on this, then I'll take on that. You know what we say, I easily adapt.
Yeah, I'm a chameleon.
I realized that it was as a way of coping because I was tired of the labels and it really broke me. So therapy is what's helping me, but also being able to return home to this stranger.
Okay.
Like you say, taking off 10 days. Me now, I would be very busy. As that church girl that was in choir was, helping out. I was so busy trying to run away from this person that I'm told, needs to adjust and change. That nowadays, I actually find it harder to leave my bed, to leave my house. Not that I'm unwell, but for me, vulnerability is one, being able to come home to me in all of my in my weaknesses, in my strengths, in my failures, and still say, you know what? Thank you, body, for holding me down. The other thing is being able to set my boundaries and say, our friendship is going to end because I've told you all right, that's sad, it's very painful, but okay.
Bye.
I've come from being a hoarder of people to saying, you know what, it's okay. You can go. And it's painful, like you said, but you see, at a certain point, if we don't do this work, then we are going to complete. If you're running within the system and you don't spare time for yourself, by the time you realize it's taken a toll on you, you probably are very, way out of it. So for me, the third thing is also to accept, to be mindful and present and say, okay, at this particular point of my life, remember I quit my job last year and everyone was asking, what did you do?
What's next?
And initially, because people are used to, you don't just quit radio to go and do nothing. At some point you're like, well, watch that space. Until I said, there is a lot of space for you to watch. So I would say, I've quit my job to go and rest. What? You can't quit? I'm like, watch me. So to also be present and say, in this particular moment in time, this is where I am. If you don't like it, if it's uncomfortable, I'm sorry. But man, yes, it's hard, but it's doable.
Okay.
Yeah. One of the reasons why I named the program Not Your Body is I like to end it with Not Your Body, Not Your Business.
Yeah.
I really have a problem with critics. And I've been told my whole life, Lindsay, you need to accept criticism. Hell no.
Yeah, it's enough for you.
I don't need to accept criticism because everybody's got skeletons in their closets. Every single person. I just need to come to your house and open that cupboard. And I'll find your skeletons. But you have the time to sit down
and point at mine,
every single person.
Yeah.
So I don't even believe in helpful criticism. Why?
Constructive criticism.
Constructive, any form of criticism.
Okay.
I'm not
about it. It's a no from you.
So if it's not your body, it's not your business. I'm sure you got your own things going on, but you're too busy projecting onto me and avoiding dealing with your own problems. And not your body is also like every single person, every single body comes with its own problems. Everyone looks different. Everyone has a different mental capacity. Everyone has a different physiological, psychological capacity, which is why I made sure to stress that even though for me, I like to use suffering to grow, not everybody can do that.
That's true.
And we have to respect that. Human beings are so varied.
Yeah.
So if it's not your body, it's not your business. You're a spectator looking at us fighting in the arena. Comment.
No, it's a no. Okay. So that is the conversation on an ode to strong women. Mainly for us to just unpack what a strong woman is and also re-invite the idea of vulnerability, the idea of softness, the idea of weakness, and not use it as a bad thing, but something that we can welcome into our lives. Guys, no one is going to pay to endure suffering, so do it at your own will. Now we're going to get into the group chat segment where I'm going to share a few videos from people who have thoughts on this particular topic. Don't go anywhere. And that's a wrap up of today's episode, an ode to strong women. What are your final remarks?
I would say, woman, no one is going to take care of you but you. And in that sense, I'm not talking about splitting 50-50. Meaning,
In this patriarchy. I don't know what 50-50 is.
Sit down with yourself and define what you want for yourself. If it means taking on the route like Lindsay, being able to look through and have your boundaries so that not every feedback or every criticism moves you. It's going to take you first coming back home to yourself and knowing who you are, what you stand for, what you want to achieve, and not easily be swayed. And also choosing yourself. If there's one thing I admire about men is we are seated in this room, a man will just walk in and probably pick that thing and walk. And while for us you're going to calculate how they feel, or not that we should just be douchebags, but for all the times that you self-guess, self-doubt, is someone out there taking a space that you should be taking. So choose yourself, choose the opportunities, shoot your shot, and be the best version of a woman that you can be. And there is not a single way of being a woman.
Exactly. Define womanhood for yourself.
Yeah, for you thrive at I don't know what.
Whatever works for you.
Woman, be please.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's already hard enough being a woman.
I would say that women do not know their own power. When we celebrate women, we forget that we are celebrating what individual women have done to change their lives and their communities. Yes, the government can say public holiday. What has the government done? The government is celebrating women who took steps on their own to change their lives and to help other women. It is always down to us individually to fight this fight, to quote unquote burn our bras. It's never something that is state sanctioned. In fact, you will get rebellion from the states.
Because we put the women's march.
And I love the women's march because the state was like, you're not going to do it, and we said, no, we are going to do it. And guess what? That is the only tear gas free protest I have ever been a part of in this country. We don't know our own power. So I would just like to ask every woman to look inside herself. And if you have it in you, in your life, try to change what you don't like. And try to go after what you want and to do it unapologetically. I'll end this with a quote by Maya Angelou. Every time a woman stands up for herself, whether she knows it or not, she's standing up for others.
Yes. Okay. Thank you so much for saying yes to my invite on Conversations with Kanyumozi. We are at our home, Design Hub Kampala. At Net Studios is the reason why we look perfect. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to comment and share what is your definition of a strong woman and how has your journey to vulnerability been. My last remarks will be choose selfishly and choose softness. I manifest softness continuously because I don't have energy for battles and burdens. That is not for me. Thank you for watching. Till the next episode. Bye-bye.